during Kanye West's interview with a podcast over the weekend, he not only regurgitated all sorts of right-wing talking points on, anti-Semitism and George Floyd. He also decided to weigh in on the topic of reproductive rights and abortion. And this is something that I've heard repeated by right-wingers over and over again. So let's watch that and I'll discuss.
Put out my White Lives Matter tee. The White Lives Matter tee don't say nothing. It don't say DEF CON or nothing on it, right? I'm like, put it out. And he's telling me like, yo, I want you to visit the Holocaust Museum. And I was like, yo, I want you to visit Planned Parenthood. That's our Holocaust Museum.
Women, regardless of what their background is, regardless of what their race is, regardless of where they are in life, should have complete control over their bodies. They should have complete control over their bodies when we're dealing with either an embryo, a zygote, a fetus that is clearly not viable outside the womb. Equating a woman, including Black women, making a decision about their reproductive issues, about whether or not they're ready to be children, ready to have children and be parents. Equating that to the Holocaust is literally insane. Just absolutely the most dishonest, disgusting argument anyone can make, okay? The Holocaust slaughtered millions of people. They didn't have a choice about whether or not they went into concentration camps. They didn't have a choice about whether or not they were gonna die in gas chambers. They were forced to their death. In this case, when we're talking about reproductive rights, it's women exercising autonomy and agency over their own bodies. That's what it's about. It's about economic freedom. It's about making decisions about your own body. And equating that to the Holocaust is so disingenuous and so freaking disgusting, it boggles the mind. And I find it rich for someone like Kanye West, who has unlimited resources, to spout off about reproductive rights and how wrong it is for women to get to make a decision about their own bodies, especially in the context of putting himself in this like area of victimhood. He looks at himself as such an incredible victim of whoever the perpetrators are. Lately, it's Jewish people in his mind, even though he's a multimillionaire who's living in the lap of luxury. And I have no interest in hearing about what he thinks women should and should not do with their own bodies, especially when it comes to something as serious as childbearing in a country that offers absolutely no economic support for women who do want to have children. So spare me your BS where you equate reproductive rights to the Holocaust. That is so incredibly disgusting. I'm so sick of hearing that argument from right wingers. They think they're so clever when they say it. It's just gross.
So here's an irony. He says, oh, did you know that one of the founders of Planned Parenthood originally believed in eugenics, which by the way is true. That part, it's a rare thing that is true, but it's obviously long gone and nobody involved in Planned Parenthood believes that anymore. It doesn't come within miles and miles of believing that. And so it's just like a little historical asterisk, and he thinks he's clever by pointing it out. But in the same breath, in the same interview, he talked about how all the Jews are the same, which would be basically a racial eugenic argument for, oh, well, the Jews, they're structured this way. They're all the same. Can you believe how terrible eugenics is? You're making a eugenics argument by saying that all Jews are the same, let alone the fact that you're making a lunatic argument, which then brings me to the last point. Look, I think Kanye is so disturbed that if he wasn't a multi-millionaire, like at this point, he might be in a straitjacket bouncing off walls. And so now he says, though, he knows better than all women. Women shouldn't get to decide what to do with their bodies and their entire lives, by the way. But Kanye should decide for them. You think we're gonna go into a mental asylum and check in? Oh, hey, what does Kanye think I should do with my life and my body? Oh, thank you, dictator Kanye. I'll now go do that. And then ironically, they'll say, oh, we're right wingers because we believe in freedom. Do you? You don't believe in freedom at all. You think we should listen to your dumbass. No deal. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.